Yo, GM, how are you guys doing? We are back with the $1 Trade Show. I'm Diego, and today I don't have Nick with me, but I have great guests here. So we have Julian from Mincan Prediction Markets and Maxime from France Crypto. How are you guys doing? And welcome to the show.
GM guys.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Diego.
Yeah, great to have you back here, Julian, and great to have you for the first time, Maxime. So let me ask you, so for starters, let's start this properly. Please, guys, start with Julianne. Introduce yourself. Tell us who are you and what you're doing and what you're
Sure,
building.
sure. Yeah, so I'm Julian. I'm the co-founder of Meme Coin Prediction Markets. We are a sort of niche crypto prediction market vertical on base. Um, and basically, it's Oracle-powered prediction markets. We've partnered with Dia, who created custom oracles for each of the meme coins that we have in our markets, and we have sort of fast, sort of short-term markets, so 1 hour, 24-hour, and we have 7-day arenas coming soon. And they're basically PvP markets, so there's no house edge, there's no complexity really. It's just a clean yes or no binary decision, and there's a fee that are from each prediction. It's $5 per prediction, and there's a 5% fee. But that fee is split then to token holders, so they actually able to earn the majority of the protocol fees that the protocol generates. So 60% of the fees go to locked holders. So as you can imagine, once we start to fire up, we're very, very early at the moment, but once we start to fire up, then that could be quite a nice passive income play for many people as they get paid out USDC on a monthly basis. But ultimately, it's just about having some fun, proving conviction on chain, sharpening your edge, that type of thing. So,
And building on the prediction market space, making it grow, right?
yeah,
That's
absolutely. I
what
mean,
we are about in the show here. Yeah.
definitely, and I think there's something probably we'll talk more about here, but there's plenty of verticals available to prediction markets as an infrastructural sort of primitive, really. So yeah, should
Great.
be fun going forward.
Great. We are going to come back and talk a little bit more about this. And Maxime, great to have you here. I met Maxime back in Buenos Aires a couple of weeks ago. It was great to meet you in at TuneCon. It's great to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about how you got into prediction markets and what you're doing with France Cryptos.
Yeah, sure. Well, first, thanks for the invite. Very happy to be here today. Just came back from Buenos Aires yesterday, so still a bit jet lagged, but it will be fine. Well, so for me, I've been around for some years in crypto, building a bunch of like consumer-facing products. And lastly, we acquired France Crypto, which is one of the biggest Web3 French media. And the idea for us is to look at the intersection of like prediction markets and media. So you don't have like any prediction market product yet with the media. However, we're pushing a few things soon, hopefully, and still on the really consumer facing side of things, and how we can and how we could leverage the information that prediction markets and at the end of the day the information that money provide us as a media to talk about upcoming events and how we could use in some ways money as a curation. So that's quite interesting.
Amazing. And we are going to touch exactly this point about the intersection between prediction markets and news, because there was a big announcement from Kalshi this week. Okay, so let's get started with the content. And guys, feel free to interrupt me, share your opinions, share your thoughts about what we are doing, and let's go. So a lot of things are happening on Kalshi. So it felt that last week we were talking a lot about Polymarket with a lot of announcements, but this week it seems that everything is about Kalshi. So on Monday we talked about the class action that it was proposed against them, and we highlighted here how we think that it's an opportunity for this space to get stronger, and instead of seeing these kind of tribalism between prediction markets, different prediction markets, it's time to see this industry getting together to build something stronger. And so finally, what we have here, it's Kalshi coming on chain with prediction markets on Solana. So this is the post here. Tokenizer prediction markets powered by Kalshi are live on Solana. Plus $2 million in builder grants are open, and Axiom Exchange is next, and more chains coming soon. Welcome to Powered by Kalshi era. So we have around this, we have also John Wang posting the ultimate mode for any exchange is liquidity. Kalshi is the one prediction market in the world that aggregates on-chain and off-chain, US and international, into one giant liquidity pool. Tokenization is the end game, non-custodial, instant, and crypto native. Guys, what you have to say about this before I share my takes on this? How big this is, how important this is.
Yeah, I think this is a really strong move. I mean, it basically Kalshi on Solana is basically like TradFi admitting blockchain is the better plumbing. So this is it's a clear signal that prediction markets are becoming infrastructure, as far as I'm concerned. It's not experimentation anymore. It's settlement innovation, basically. So
Yeah, I completely agree. For me, I think what's very interesting is to see the difference between Polymarket and Kalshi, and I think they did just the opposite move, meaning that Polymarket started really Web3, and then now is going fully regulated and stuff in the US, and if you look at the investors, it's really different. Like Polymarket started with crypto investors, and now more going into Web2 traditional investors. And from what I've seen, Kalshi is doing kind of the opposite, starting very regulated with Web2 investors, and now they paradigm is leading around. So that's very interesting to see this. And at the end of the day, I mean, I think we have some of probably the two winners, Kalshi and Polymarket, and the battle will be about being the key infrastructure of prediction markets, kind of what Hyperliquid is doing in some ways by enabling anyone to build financial stuff on top of them. And I think it will be exactly the same competition with Kalshi and Polymarket here.
Yeah. So I've been repeating this. So our fight is not if you're going to use Kalshi or Polymarket. If it's you're going to use prediction markets or the traditional old institutions that are there, like bookmakers, betting companies, this. And yeah, it's interesting, as you guys highlighted, especially you Julian. I mean, what we are seeing here, it's not that Kalshi is building an on-chain order book or something similar to Hyperliquid. Actually, Kalshi is this regulated company that seems to be building this infrastructure for markets, and what you can trade on Solana are tokenized version of that infrastructure that exists in real world. So for me, it looks way more like a real world asset step instead of moving fully on chain. So I see Kalshi as crypto friendly prediction market. But anyway, I mean it's pretty cool what happened.
yeah, I mean, I
We've
think
been
sort of
waiting for this.
yeah, it sort of bridges the gap between sort of regulated PMs and fully on-chain ones. So it's like a convergence that's coming. So they're coming from that end, and just like we said, you got Polymarket coming from one side, you got Kalshi coming from another side, and I think this is really important. I don't really want to take sides at this point. I think it's right. We're much better off moving away from this fight between prediction markets and think about it as like prediction markets against the TradFi way that things have been done. So really, it should we should be supporting everything. I mean, I know there's beef there, and I understand what that's all about, but at some point we've got to move over that and look at all the opportunities that prediction markets bring, and on chain is clearly the place it needs to be.
Totally agree, and I'm really curious to see what kind of integrations we are going to see with these tokenizer positions. So last week we had a guest here from robbing markets, and dude, it was amazing what they are doing. So basically, you can get your positions on Polymarket. So far, you can deposit and you earn yield on that position. They match the positions, yes or no. They get $1 from there. They deposit that on Avi, and you get yield from your positions. And I think that's the thing that traditional markets are still blind to when it comes to prediction markets. How tokenizing can make this capital more efficient.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, at the end of the day, blockchain and crypto is all about capital efficiency. And I think that's one of the biggest things we can have also. I mean, scaling prediction market will be a huge things by, enabling, yield on top of those assets. Even I don't know if you've seen the paper from Paradigm entitled, I think it's Multiverse Finance, which basically is more about, speculating and creating two versions of a prediction market based on trading the outcome of the news. Let's say I have Trump and Kamala prediction market, so Trump win or Kamala win, and then the thing is you have both multiverse where you have the money that is you have the money if Trump win, and then you can do lending, borrowing, and a bunch of stuff around that. And you have the other one with Kamala. And the thing is, once the market has resolved, let's say Trump has won, well, this one will continue on spot and switch on spot market, and Kamala will just go to zero. With all, if you've lent this one, if you have lent something, the both position goes to zero. So it's like you're just going to zero on this one and continue with Trump, which is a way to basically speculate not only on, what will happen or if it will happen, but really on the outcome. I haven't seen this for now, but I think that's something that might be very interesting, and still continuing on the capital efficiency thesis.
Yeah. So we have last month, I believe, Arseni from Gondor Finance. They are building something similar to that allows you to get leverage from your positions on Polymarket as well. So we've been seeing these tools being built for Polymarket because it was already on chain. But now with this move from Kalshi going on chain on Solana, I mean, it's clear that we are going to see more things. And I'm really excited about people who are building this evolution of what we can do. I mean, it feels a little bit like 2021 with the DeFi Legos, but now the DeFi Legos, the pieces are your positions on prediction markets.
Yeah, I mean, imagine where we're going to be in 5 years from now. Every forecasting product is going to end up on chain, purely through competitive pressure. So, that's going to be a leveler, and yeah, it's exciting times. I mean, this is just the start.
Yeah, it's good to be witnessing this. So, guys, moving forward here, naturally, right after this announcement, we have a post here from Dune. Dune is basically the biggest, and I mean, I'm a huge fan of them, of what they're doing. Their biggest data source of on-chain information. So huge day for Kalshi, a 1 billion raise at an 11 billion valuation plus a new partnership with DFlow to bring tokenizing markets to Solana. Kalshi moves closer to its goal of becoming a foundational liquidity layer of prediction markets, bridging crypto native and regulated markets. And basically what's happening here is that you don't need to upload Kalshi's data to Dune anymore to have your carry. So we've been sharing here a lot of content from Data Dashboard. Is a guy who has the better dashboard on Dune about prediction market so far. All the other data from Myriad Markets, Limitless, Opinion, and Polymarket, it was already on chain. So he was able to plug them straight to the dashboard. But the data from Kalshi had to be extracted from Kalshi and uploaded to Dune. But now that's already live on Dune. So it's better for us because we are going to get better data, and it's going to be easier for us to analyze. So just yeah.
I mean, I think in some ways it's quite a milestone really, because PM data is then now becoming public, queryable, and composable. So, it's definitely in the public good that Dune is there for everyone to see. So visibility creates legitimacy at the end of the day. So
perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's good.
So after that, let's move forward with this. John Wang. It's impossible to have a show without talking about John Wang. And he just said, I will be making Kalshi's crypto biggest announcement yet at Solana next week. At Solana conference, it's going to be in Dubai, I think. Yeah. So no one is ready for this. And I posted, okay, Kalshi's coming on chain powered by Solana. I didn't see this before, I didn't see the first post before. I posted and said, no, you missed it. That was something else. It's going to be something else. My guesses, guys. user-generated markets, Kalshi token, leverage positions, or they will announce some integration with DeFi. Any other guess you guys would have
Interesting. Max, do
of
you want to go first?
what could be this big announcement that they are going to make next week? It's an announcement of an announcement. I mean, it's
Sure.
kind
I
of a
mean,
nothing burger, but yeah.
I was thinking sort of deeper integrations or maybe new categories or something. But I don't know. I mean, it could be token thing. Yeah, interesting. But
Yeah.
it's interesting that like we've got a prediction market protocol that's teasing announcements like a tech giant. And that sort of makes me think, prediction is becoming infrastructure. So yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
what it is, but
Let's
it's
see. Let's see. I'm anxious to see this. Unfortunately, I'm not coming to this event, but yeah, if any one of you are going, please share with us in first hand. I would love to know this. Any other thing, Maxime, that you think, or did I get this
Yeah,
wrong? Any other
I,
stuff that comes to your mind?
I think it's a tough one. What I would like to see the most is, being able to create, I mean, permissionless like prediction market. That would be for me the most like interesting one, because a token play. I, the thing is, I think you can use a token play. They will use it probably at some point because Polymarket had done it. I think
Hmm.
it might be a bit early because they already have like some good momentum, lot of news. If they want to push the Web3 narrative and want to get more Web3 people, I think DeFi integration could be a very good way. Plus, they're already partnering with Jupiter, and so that would make a lot of sense. So for me, it's either what I would like the most is permissionless prediction market. What is the most I think in terms of probabilities is probably DeFi integration. I would say token comes after, but well, maybe I'm wrong,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then I will have to trade a bit more to to get.
For sure. So by the way, I put it user generated markets. It's something that it's what we do at Groovy Markets. But what I'm really curious to see is one of these big players creating the user generated markets. Is I'm really curious to see what will be their solution for the initial liquidity, because that's the
Yeah.
biggest pain for prediction
So
markets so far. So if you let user generated market, what will be their solution for these big players about the initial liquidity?
I think we have like two discussions here. We have of course, the liquidity is a very big one, and the oracle for the resolution is also a big one. Meaning
Hmm.
that from what I've seen, I mean, I've seen some interesting stuff. I don't know if you know the prediction markets here. You know
Seer,
the
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I've
Sure,
been to their headquarters in Lisbon. Yeah, nice people.
we're doing some interesting stuff to to kind of protect a little bit the liquidity providers. So I think it's not live yet, but from what they pitched me, in Dev Connect, that sounded very interesting. But I mean, no one has cracked the liquidity issues,
Yeah.
and the resolution with the oracle is. I think it's even more difficult because the thing, and when you speculate on a prediction market, the truth is you do not speculate on a specific event, but you speculate on the resolution of this event. And so
Hmm.
all the point is about having this oracle. And I've discussed with a guy from Augur, which are old people from this space,
Hmm. Hmm.
and we have like several hypotheses coming here between oh, this should be absolutely resolution, even if it takes 6 months to have a resolution, it need to be the truth. And then you have like
Hmm.
others that are more like, oh, it might be it's more like optimistic approach.
Hmm.
And so to get resolution very quickly. So yeah, I don't know, but this is for me the artist will be on resolution.
Yeah, so just a shout out to Lucas here, because Lucas came to the show a couple of months ago. He's one of the builders of Cashbot, and he's working on a kind of bonding curve solution for this initial liquidity, which I think is really clever and something really similar to what we thought for Groovy. And when it comes to resolution, I know Seer uses Claros. It's not exactly the same thing that Polymarket has with Yuma, but it's a different and clever. I just think that I still think that the initial liquidity is the biggest problem, because resolution can be, I mean, I think it's just easier because it does not involve capital. So you can have a
True, but I think
committee of people, you can have kind of credible sources, just like Polymarket is doing today. It's a mix of this human oracle resolution and these credible sources, because you'll be kind of reinforced by news outlets. Go ahead,
Sure.
Julian.
I understand. Obviously, liquidity is a big play in this all, but I think the resolution is absolutely key as the base of all prediction markets. If you can't have clean resolution,
No,
you
yeah,
just
yeah, for sure.
create
Yeah.
issues. So, I mean, I'll blow our own trumpet. I mean, that's why we partner with DIA, because neutral oracles that are they create. Then there's no obfuscation. There's no problem.
Yeah, my take on this is just that I think that for different markets, we could have different sources of resolution. Because you mentioned DIA there, it makes total sense if you're talking about the price of coins. Even if you're talking about stocks, it makes sense. But sometimes for real world events, like we saw that market about Lord Miles, I mean, an oracle cannot solve that market.
No, that is true.
So yeah, so I think the best. I mean, there's not only one best solution for a whole model of prediction markets. I think we will find different ways to solve different markets based on their nature. I think so.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, every vertical is going to have a different way of creating that resolution. So
I believe that
some are very clean to do, and some are definitely difficult to manage. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think we will have those, several solutions. It's the same with, if you look at decentralization, for example, you have the pro decentralization, and then you have those that are more about, sufficient decentralization, if I think about, forecaster. And so I think we'll have the same, parallel with prediction market and resolution, the sufficient trustable, oracle. And if you have like the big one, and depending of the amount also involved, well, maybe, we have this cursor to adjust based on in it, and based on that, the more money you have, the more the oracle should be like trustable. I think we have to find out something like this, but difficult one.
Yeah. So, and the fact that we don't have the answers for that, I think that's good. That proves that we are evolving as an industry, and a lot of things still needs to be built. And I don't want, I will hold my horses, but we are going to talk about the potential Supercycle narrative. And I've been saying that I still didn't read the article. I saved this to read here with you guys. But I mean, I've been saying no to this narrative, but I don't know. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Anyway, so just to finish this, and also with this announcement, Kalshi introduced this 2 million plus dollars grant. So if you are building trading terminals, sites and client and dashboards, AI agents, analytics tools, and a lot of things, you can try and submit your project to this and get a share of this pie to help bootstrap your project.
Yeah, so it's interesting. They've gone about it a different route to Polymarket. So Polymarket's grant program is all about building on top of Polymarket structures that make use of everything that they've got, whereas Kalshi are inviting protocols to basically to kind of align with them, and them to sort of bring those protocols under their wing. So and I guess really that's where if you've got one is crypto native, so it doesn't need to do that. One isn't crypto native, and so is trying to draw into the crypto arena, and that's the best way they can do it is by aligning with protocols that are already there. I mean, which I think is a really good idea, for them. It brings them into the whole structure when they haven't already been there natively in the first instance. So
yeah. So let's move forward to the next one. Okay, still about Kalshi. As I said, guys, it's not. I wish we were sponsored by Kalshi, but not today, not yet. Okay, Kalshi raised $1 billion at 11 billion valuation. So I mean, it's interesting because for the industry, it's interesting because Last month, Polymarket raised $2 billion. So it's $3 billion for the industry as a whole. So yeah, it represents the interest from I mean, from the world in what we've been building here. So there is a belief in what's happening here. And as Maxine said, so here it's a tweet from Charlie. So I'm just saving here because when this lawsuit came out last week, last Friday, I believe, we saw a post from Charlie and he was doubling down about Kalshi. Oh, Kalshi is building some generational kind of company, and I'm with these guys. And I wasn't sure, but Nick highlighted that Paradigm. He's from Paradigm, I believe. Yeah, and how they were one of the investors in Kalshi. And then he highlighted he's excited to lead another round in Kalshi, as you said, Maxine. Tarek, Luana, and their team are building a generational. This was the expression that he used once again. Generational company, one of the fastest growing of all time. Prediction markets may be the future of most finance, and we Paradigm are grateful to partner with them to make it a reality. So yeah, I don't see these VCs stopping now. I know some people are already saying that this space is getting crowded, with lots of projects, but I still don't see we slowing down here. I think we are still early on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's sort of the second mega valuation that we've had now after Polymarket, and I think Paradigm really are sort of pricing prediction markets in at the same sort of strategic level as DeFi, perps, and layer twos and things like that. So I think it really sort of confirms that prediction markets are now sort of a core vertical.
Yeah, I
in
think
this
so.
space. So
Yeah, totally
it's
agree.
good
Yeah.
for us all.
Totally agree.
I think we'll have kind of the same narrative, I mean, similar to what we had last year with meme coins, where you get, pump fund, which is basically the parallel with the Polshi, with Kalshi and Polymarket, and then you will have all the others company which are like beta play with trading terminals, Telegram bots, analytics tool, wallet tracker for whales and stuff. All of those, I think this will be very similar to what we've seen, with the meme coin era.
Mhm.
And that's also, with the few discussions I had with some VCs, most of them are, I mean, most of the VCs I've talked with are not really, into uh, buying the next Polymarket, but way more on a very few specific verticals. Most of the one I've talked to are about tooling, but also some of them were really on specific, like, liquidity or oracles. But for oracles, it's difficult to monetize, so it's still a bit tricky. Many VCs, from what I've seen, are a bit, still looking at it and not really, pushing a lot. We had one, Melee Market raised with Variant Funds and a bunch of others, but I think it's still early. Plus, everyone gets wrecked also the past month, so I think it makes things a bit harder. But yeah.
Yeah, so talking about this, the whole ecosystem as you muted, just it reminded me this prediction index. So shout out to those guys. They are building something pretty cool here. So they just put together everything that is being built around prediction markets. So you can filter here. You have a lot of filters that can help you out to find what is live, what is in waitlist, on testnet, whatever. So guys, I'm scrolling here like multiple tabs, let's say. And I mean, there's a lot of being built, and I don't think we are going to stop here. Just
Yeah.
like Maxine highlighted. And okay, finally, we have this. I think this is one of the last things that we have for Kalshi today. We are going to move to other players as well, guys. But Kalshi announced this partnership with CNN. So CNN partners with Kalshi to integrate prediction markets into its global newsroom, the first major news network to embrace Kalshi prediction markets. A new era of media is here. Okay, so a few months ago, I remember reading this article that some guys were, or articles or a post, the guy was just saying, okay, prediction markets are going to be the next source of news in the future. I disagree. I would like to know if you guys have a stance on that. And my take is, so basically, I think prediction markets are filters for what we see from news outlets. I think that the news outlets generate or they regurgitate the news, and we try and absorb them, and with our knowledge we can use prediction markets to play our opinion on that, which can be a knowledge opinion or not. So I can hear the news and I can say, okay, this is bullshit. I know better than those guys, or not. And then in the end, what prediction markets could bring to us is a filter. So we will be able to compare in the end if those media news were accurate or not. So I think prediction markets in the end game would be kind of a validation, not actually a source of truth, because they come after the news are created. So I don't think that prediction markets create news. There's some sort of there's the origin of news, and then there's prediction markets as a filter, and then we have the outcome, and then we can compare. That's my thing. So, but anyway, it doesn't make it less at all of what is going on here. So
So I think it really depends. The very good point you mentioned is it depends where do you use the prediction market. Meaning that for me, you can use prediction market as a source because I mean, if you look at I know the data, I think it's one day before the resolution, it's like 90% already true. So it gives you the news before the news, the real news. So in a way, it's already a source of news. And by the way, we haven't seen a platform that leverage those information. So I want to see a newspaper that tell me the upcoming news, and that's possible with prediction market. So in some way, they can be the source. But in most of the time, I agree with you. They will not be the source, but they will be very interesting tool to, firstly, a good way of monetization for media, and secondly, a good way to curate information. Meaning, let's say I know Tesla has a new news, is announcing a new feature with their car. Well, the prediction market could be, well, do you think Tesla price will increase in the next one day? And the thing is, here you can speculate on the outcome of the news, so that's good way to make revenue for the media, and also the volume, or the liquidity behind those, prediction market linked to news could be a very good way to to basically see what's very interesting or what will be very viral. If you look at, for example, Pumpfun, they did something very interesting on their mobile app. Pumpfun is, you can tokenize anything. You could tokenize news, and in some way, prediction market could be a way to tokenize news. And so the thing is, on the Pumpfun app, you can go there and you will see a news page where you get all the trending coin. And I think we will have the same with prediction market. And the thing is, money is way faster than virality, for example. And so the thing is, instead of seeing something viral on X because it's already viral, or because my algorithm pushed me, I want to see it because the money tells me it's interesting. And I think prediction market will be used also that way.
okay.
But Julian, maybe you have like a different opinion, or
Well, that's all really interesting. Like everything you've said, I want to add a different slant to this, which I sort of see here. So, obviously, at this stage, it might seem like Kalshi partnering with CNN is quite good for Kalshi because it sort of brings legitimacy to the PM space with the TradFi media. However, I think actually, ultimately, it's a flip of that because I believe that the likes of CNN and traditional media is becoming irrelevant because of prediction markets. So the news is surfacing in prediction markets a lot quicker than through the middleman of the traditional media. So where you have people on the ground in different places, something happens and they sort of mention this and someone catches ear of it and it gets triggered into Polymarket. That's happening without any of the traditional media being a touch point at all. And because traditional media has had a stranglehold over everything for so long and has manipulated it for so long, people were already fed up of traditional media, and now prediction markets I believe, are usurping and will continue to usurp traditional media. So it's a strange one. I think it's quite a good move for Kalshi at the moment because it sort of flips that legitimacy of prediction markets, but ultimately, to me, it feels like CNN desperately trying to hold relevance within the media structure, which is actually breaking down in front of our eyes as we speak. So it's interesting. It's really, really interesting. But I'm not a fan of traditional media because it's lied to us. It's propaganda for so long. And now that and like this, the scales are coming off everyone's eyes to a certain degree. And that is good to see. So, but yeah, it's interesting.
Two things came to my mind here while you were saying this. So let's start with anyone could be. I mean, by this point of view, anyone could be a reporter. So if I see something and I make my prediction based on what I saw, actually I'm sharing the information, basically what a reporter is doing, and it's no bias because I'm putting money on. So yeah, I mean, I mean, it tends to be as closer to the truth as possible. This is why I say it's no bias, even though I put money on that. And the other thing is, considering the current state of traditional media, I just remind me the last scene of Titanic. Titanic is going down, and you need a table of salvation. You need a piece of wood, and it seems like CNN is doing this because it's not like the way it's written here. At least it's not Kalshi partners with CNN. It's CNN partners with Kalshi. So Kalshi was just there. CNN going, hey, can I get something from you? Please save me. Could be something like that. So yeah, I tend to agree actually with what you say.
Yeah, I mean, media must evolve, or the media that will not evolve will die.
Exactly,
And the thing is, media need to find a good way to monetize themselves. And the thing is, it doesn't work with a subscription because the information is already free for most of people. So this doesn't work. Then you get ads, but if you get ads, the quality is getting, you decrease the quality. Then you can have like proper sponsors, but if you get proper sponsors and partners, then you're biased on what you're writing. Then what happens usually is then a big billionaire come and buy media because that doesn't make money. And so the thing is very difficult for media to be, to do what they should do. And so I think that prediction market in crypto in general are a great way for media to find a way, to monetize themselves or be used, in especially in crypto, most of media are used, just as a distribution channel and a funnel. The thing, for example, with most of SaaS business, the big issue with SaaS is the acquisition cost of getting someone to your SaaS. And having a media for that enable you to switch this from a cost to a revenue. And so, I think, so I like media. You can have, a bunch of things with media, a lot of issues with media today. I agree with you, Julian. But I think we might have, prediction market could be a very good way to get better media. And I'm sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a fair point. It's the truth is a real leveler, and prediction markets are surfacing that truth a lot quicker than traditional media is, and it's also making traditional media kind of have to be more honest than they've ever been. So they can't continue with propaganda that they've always continued with, because the truth surfaces, then it makes them effectively look stupid and propagandist. And that's going to continue to roll. And so people are just going to ignore traditional media more and more if they continue to try and play the games that they've always played for all the years that we've known. So it's going to be interesting. But like you just sort of pointed out there, Diego, it seems like it's CNN have come to Kalshi for the partnership rather than the other way around. So.
The way they wrote it seems okay, guys. Okay, I just gonna send a message here to Tarek because I think Kalshi just got their new biz dev team because we solved their problem. So now we have. I know what's the announcement that John Wang's going to do. So Kalshi is going to be able to create CNN is going to be able to create their own markets. They will get a fee from that. They will not gonna need to run ads anymore. They will monetize and they will going to use Kalshi infrastructure. It's a good deal, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good recap.
Seems a good deal, Tarek. So I'm gonna send you a message and I'm gonna write down the details. We can have a call with you guys and CNN. Okay, just to close this up here. Prediction markets are one of the most powerful ways to understand what's happening in the world. Our partnership with CNN marks one of the most important changes to the news ecosystem in decades. Just like I said, Julian. Damn, I'm using this new tool here, guys.
No worries.
I was convinced to move to Brave. I was a Safari user, and then I don't know how to play with this tool yet. Prediction markets will support forward-looking reporting and journalists through the collective wisdom of the crowds. The next era of media begins today. I was joking, but guys, I would really be interested in see like CNN-powered markets. CNN will provide initial liquidity. They will be the owners of some markets, and Kalshi would be the infrastructure. Why not?
Yeah.
I think that will be the future of media.
Yeah. I mean, you were already correct earlier when you say that anyone should be a journalist. This means that current journalists will still do the job as a media, and so this will be open for like one journalist, in his room alone, but also very true for CNN guys or any type of media.
Yeah, I already see the ads for this. CNN could say, okay, anyone can be a CNN journalist now.
Yeah.
Just place your bets on our prediction market.
And
Yeah.
just adding to what I was saying earlier, I'm not saying that CNN can't be relevant. It's just that they have to change to stay relevant.
For sure.
So
for sure.
this link with Kalshi is their way of keeping relevant within the the new paradigm, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. So this week, this new came out here in Brazil. So the biggest TV station here in Brazil, they hit the lower record on audience. So people are just not watching TV anymore. So, and it's a kind of media. I mean, it has to evolve like any other media. So otherwise, they will die. And yeah, I think prediction markets is I mean, it's a low hanging fruit for any media company that needs some new air. Okay, finally moving away of Kalshi. Not that we don't like Kalshi, but I mean, we need to talk about other stuff as well. Against all odds, Polymarket's US app is now being rolled out to those on the wait list. We are launching with sports, followed by markets on everything. And this is really interesting because last week we were just talking how people were. I mean, there was a spike. I'm gonna show you guys this market here. So let's go for a month. So there, people were really believing that Polymarket US would go live. Like it was 92% in the beginning of November, and then it plummeted to as low as 60%. And then a couple of days ago, it was when, like around December, yeah, 1 week, December 2nd, bam, December 1st, 96%. And now it's at 99%. I'm just curious about the rules here. This market will resolve to yes if a real money trade is publicly placed on a regulated polymarket operated designated contract market by December 31st. Otherwise, okay, so I just assume that if the US app is live, it means that these contracts are live as well. So this market should be resolved as to yes. There's always a dispute, so it's disputed. Let's see how it rolls out. But it seems basically that Polymarket US is live. Not for everyone yet, but it is live.
So
How
that
big is this
resolution was
milestone?
saying
Go
the
ahead.
resolution was saying that just one prediction has to be made on the app before the end of the year for it to be resolved. Is that right?
A real money trade is publicly placed. So it's not a test net because it's real money. It's publicly placed, so it's not closed app. So if this is being rolled out to those on the wait list, can we consider this an open trade?
Yeah.
That's the thing about the rules, and I've been discussing this with Nick extensively here in the show. I mean, that's when things get tricky. Okay, trading on a waiting list app, so it's not open to everyone. It's open for some. It's kind of open. Should that be considered publicly placed? I think so, because that's public. Public gets access. Not all the public. So that's and yeah, it's being discussed here. I got the wrong one here, but I mean we would have to go to Yuma, paste this address there to see what's going on. I just going to wait and see. But for me, it seems that's the thing. The way it's written here, this is why how the rules are written is really important. Um, because I mean, this gets tricky. I mean, the words used, the wording, is defined. So what is discussed, I assume here, is just the wording. If this publicly placed, it could be considered an app open for people who are on a wait list. But anyway, in my perspective, it seems that Polymarket US is live, not for everyone, but it will probably be. And probably this resolution, if the app goes out for everyone in a couple of weeks, let's say before Christmas or before December 31, okay, there's no need for dispute for this market anymore. That's it.
I mean, regardless, I mean, the biggest prediction market, UX, entering the largest addressable market is huge. I mean, there's nothing bigger than that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, and it shows confidence in like compliance and like demand and product market fit, really. So, yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's like Polymarket going mainstream is like Coinbase, listing Bitcoin in 2012.
Yeah.
It's huge. So
I'm really curious, to be honest, to see the change in the data. I'm curious to see the data of this in a couple of weeks when all the markets are open. I want to see the impact of that, because I'm guessing a lot of people in the US are already using Polymarket with VPNs. So what will be the real impact? Are we actually going to see a huge growth, or people are actually already using this with VPN? And I think the data will show that to us in a few weeks. We are going to see, we are going to have an answer for this.
I think it will continue to explode higher with a legitimate app that anyone can use. Because I mean, we live in this sort of bubble of crypto, as if all the world is involved, and it's not.
That's true.
The vast majority is not even touching everything here. So this becoming online in app stores and everything like that, where just general people will start seeing it. And this is, I think that will be the moment where Polymarket will supersede in users the likes of FanDuel and everything like that. So that's where right now because you look at Polymarket, so there's like hundreds of thousands of users, whereas the betting sites have millions of users. Polymarket is very much about the amount of money that flows through at the moment, but this, I think, is the moment where it changes from hundreds of thousands of users potentially into the millions that then any of these other sort of sports betting, normal kind of betting apps have been. So
I think we'll have like one big change will probably be also on the ads side, meaning that I don't know the rule in the US. I mean, they add in some way some ads because of the US election, because many people were talking about it. But the thing is, I think regulation, what it will really enable, at least from my point of view in France, it will be being able to push this to anyone. And like you were saying, Julian, just not only crypto people, because those are probably using already VPN and already on it, but that's for the 99% of the rest of the world. And those people will be able to see ads of prediction markets. And the thing is, they will start with sports, and that's why also with the app they start with sports betting, because I think sports, at least on Kalshi, it's like 80% of the volume, or it's the major part is about sports. But the thing is, while we'll have other prediction markets, I think we'll have a bunch of new type of prediction market that will come and that we don't even know about today. And this will be for like specific people, even betting with friends, and on I don't know on our Telegram channel to bet on what we will do this Sunday or whatever. And so I think we'll see very niche events that will grow like this. So yeah, that I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a huge point you've also made there, Maxime, about advertising everything. Once this legitimizes Polymarket in the US arena, and you've already seen how many companies have been rolled out with Polymarket already. This is just everyone wants a piece of Polymarket. It's not the other way around anymore. Everyone wants to be associated with Polymarket, and this, by having a legitimate app out there and not people having to use it in through VPNs or whatever, all of a sudden all of those legitimate companies that want to align with Polymarket will be absolutely smashing down their door, and that's why I realized that, and that's why they've invested so much money, because not just the outsource of all the data and everything, but the associations and the ad revenue, and it's monstrous when you start thinking about it.
Yeah, so I want to see regulation because I want to see prediction markets, logos on jerseys of basketball teams, soccer teams, and I want my Lego set of a prediction market, with Shane, Tarek, small figures, this kind of stuff. I think that's actually
All the biggest teams will have Polymarket on, or Kalshi,
Kalshi,
or meme coin prediction market.
or limited or meme coin prediction markets. Yeah, yeah. It will be fun. It will be really cool. But guys, not everything's are flowers, and so Dustin Gawker, he's a critic of the space. I mean, I like his content because exactly what you guys said. I mean, he's not in this echo chamber that we live in, so he sees something differently, and he highlights this. So at least they aren't the house is the post. He's commenting on this. Kalshi versus FanDuel. Who offers better prices on NFL bets? According to Bloomberg study, Kalshi's fees are so high that they are net worse than the juice charged by FanDuel in most cases. So Kalshi improves odds on 44 bets, and FanDuel improves odds on 6-8 bets. So I mean, that's the point that he said. Okay, so at least they are not the house. One of the comments here says, okay, broken business model in one picture, worse UI, worse odds, more hassle. TLDR, not gonna replace the traditional bookies. And I love his comments. So you're not bullish. Okay. What I have to say is it can be everything here. I mean, I'm not going to discuss with data, but it shows that what we potentially have with prediction markets is to replace the house and to give users a better experience and better outcomes. We are not there yet we are not 100% there yet, but we are walking to that direction. So yesterday, I even made a post about it. Let's see if I can find here. There was this article that came out here in Brazil a couple of months ago. Just share, okay, about this. So Aggie used to be here in the show with us a lot. She's putting out some great content. Basically, he said day trading brings 1 to 5% win rate, high stress, predominant, and then prediction markets gives people from 30 to 40% win rate. And this study here in Brazil was showing that during the pandemic, during 2021 and 2023, most of the days, on 96% of the days, day trades as a whole, as a category of traders, they lost money. And if you compare this to prediction market, like trading in prediction markets, it happens 60%, 60 to 7% of the times. So prediction markets are giving people better odds compared to day trade so far. So if we come back here and if we compare prediction markets with the traditional bets and traditional gambling infrastructure that exists, we are on a way to give users better odds and better opportunities. Even though we might not be quite there yet for all the markets, because this compares only NFL bets. I think this is good criticism that help us the industry improve in what is not good so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real alpha there is the no house edge is the first thing there. So that's what prediction markets bring. I mean, when you like, so if you've got a binary decision of yes or no, higher or low, or whatever, with no house edge, you've got a 50% chance. Even if you don't have any of your own edge, if you don't have conviction, you don't have any kind of like angle on something, you have got a 50% chance of winning or losing.
Mhm.
Well, then you're never going to get that with traditional betting markets or anything like that. That's why prediction markets, will always outwin that, because there'll always be some house edge in there which reduces that, even if they were going to go anywhere close to giving you that potential of winning or losing, which they won't. They're nowhere near. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, essentially, predictable markets, you are playing against other people. It's what you just said. I mean, there's no house. I mean, for traditional betting, you have to lose for them to make money. Then that's essentially different. That's essentially different. I have to lose most of times, just like traditional markets. I mean, when you trade for the infrastructure to make money, you need to trade and you need to lose money so other people make money. That's not what's going on with prediction markets. I mean, you're trading against other people. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
way, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I will blow our own trumpet again, but that's where we are. So it's a PvP market. We don't have market makers in the background. Those that come and predict on each market are creating the liquidity. And so you either do win or you lose, and you use your edge to try and maximize your gains on that. But also the back end of that, so that where there's a prediction, there's a fee on the prediction that then gets flowed back to holders as well. So you can still earn from, like, even if you're losing on making predictions, if you're a holder of the token and you locked it, well, you can be earning the protocol fees on the back end of that. So, and you're never going to get that from any of the big prediction markets or any kind of
They don't share their revenue with users. Right? They don't
and not
share.
60% of it as well. I mean, I've seen some places saying, "Oh, we'll give you like a 1% thing for adding liquidity and stuff on our markets," which is nice and everything, but no one's given, except us, is giving you 60% of the revenue that the protocol creates. So it just shows how much is being made.
This I don't know, because I think, if you look, I don't know too much about sports betting company, and if some are like listed or stuff. But if a company is listed, it could be very similar in some ways with what we could have with tokens. Because the thing is, I think we're still very early with with the way we see tokens with protocols. And a Hyperliquid, Pump, and all those guys brought a new way of seeing stuff with doing buyback, which some listed company already do. But the thing is, this I think will still evolve, because there is a way between the company is making revenue and reinvesting those revenue to just grow and grow faster, or to redistribute as a dividend or buyback or any type of method. So I think this is still possible if the company is listed. So we might see this or not in crypto, the dividends or buyback or those kind of things. But for sure, it's probably easier than traditional market. The thing with this news, I mean, with this info, because it's not really news, I think we touch like two things. Fees model will evolve with prediction markets, and this will be probably some differentiator between some and others. You will probably pay a good UX. It's the same with like CX today. You have like CX are very difficult, very low fees, but if you put a grandma, on the CX, she will not make it. And then you have very easy application with much higher fees and better UX and very simple one. And I think we'll see the same in prediction market. But the thing is, this must evolve. And one main difference is that here we talk about sports. I think sport is a all different story, and I think it's already like past. We have a few ways to see, but I think the biggest point of prediction markets will not be about sports, and because this already exists. You can already bet on sports. Of course, you can do a few different things with prediction markets, but I think the biggest difference will be the type of prediction market you will have, and this will be the main differentiator compared to what we have with sports betting.
I think so. The culture markets, the meme coin markets, and all that. Guys, we got into 1 hour of the show. It was supposed to be 1 hour. We still have a couple of things to talk about. I would like to invite you to stay around for 5 more minutes so we can cover these two and I will save this one for next week because this is a long article. But I would like your opinion on this two, not your opinion, but your comments at least on these two things. First one is finally Myriad Markets making waves with BNB Chain and Trust Wallet. So basically what they announced here, it's a partnership with Trust Wallet. So we saw Kalshi doing this with Phantom, and we saw Polymarket doing this with MetaMask. Now Myriad is doing this with Trust Wallet. Don't know about you, but back in 2020 was the first wallet that I had on my mobile phone. Never used that again after I got a Ledger, but it was pretty cool. It was really interesting, easy to use. And I mean, it's not, we've been saying how the prediction market narrative, it's really US centered, and Trust Wallet is really big on APAC countries and even in Brazil as well in Latin America. So it's good to see different players playing around different regions of the world with different kinds of markets as well, because Myriad doesn't focus on sports or politics as Kalshi and Polymarkets are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to see. Once prediction market starts showing up inside wallets, it just means that the onboarding becomes that much easier. So it's like compression of that. So I think it would just exponentially make adoption that much more simple for prediction markets. So it's can only be a good thing. It's good to see that Myriad are getting in there as well. It's not just the two biggest ones. It's starting to filter down, and if Rabby Wallet want to get in touch with me and we'll do a partnership, that'll be fine.
we are going to send a message to Jesse Pollock. So when people open the Base app, they're going to see the meme coin prediction markets there. What's up, Jesse? Give us a help here, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have like two pieces of information here. I think the first one is what we already mentioned before, is that prediction market will be everywhere, from wallet to social app to newspaper to social media and all those. And one of the belief that we have is that the gap between having an information and news of or something and taking actions, meaning buying a coin, betting on a prediction market or whatever, will be one very soon. And that's the way that Base app is also going to. So that's like one thing. So prediction market will be everywhere. We already said that before. And the second part is about wallet, and I think wallet will become social app again. Base app is the best example. Wallet will not just be an app that you will use to store your crypto. It will be an app where you will be able to I don't know, do social stuff, send, it will be maybe neobank play. I mean, you can have a bunch of play, from super app to neobank to social app like Base app with forecaster. And so this is very interesting, and prediction market has definitely a huge place to take on those.
Yeah, so I was talking to a guy at Permissionless, a guy from Fidelity, and I was just showing my Brazilian bank app how it looks like a super app. It's not a bank app. I can do shopping there. I have social stuff to do there. I have a feed to post stuff about social. And I think wallets will be something like, or at least they should be something like that. They should feel like a super app. You have your crypto bank there. You can do lending. You can do your predictions. You can have social posts and everything. I think that's the way to go. But it's a hard game between wallets.
True, but I think that's where Base are really pushing the frontier with the Base app. Obviously, they've got an announcement coming out in sort of less than a couple of weeks, which I think I'm thinking is probably the launch of it. Rather than just a beta version, an actual full launch of the Base app. But what they're trying to do is fantastic. And their idea is to onboard a billion people at the end of the day. And the way you're going to do that is by having everything within the one app, so that you can do your banking, you can do your social media, you can do your predicting, whatever it might be. So they're trailblazing, I think, at the moment, and we're on Base, so we're right behind that. We're going to be on the Base app with our own prediction market app. But I think what they're doing is fantastic, and I hope it really sort of just grows out from there and becomes the kind of the way forward that everyone will start to follow probably.
Yeah, I don't have any extra information around Base, but I think they are pruned to become the US version of Binance. So Coinbase will be what Binance is, and Base chain will become like a layer one, like BSC is, and they will be really linked together. Because anyway, just a
Yeah,
guess. I
I
can
mean, I
envision
think
that.
Coinbase have jumped ahead of Binance here, because there really isn't something that I know of that's really integrating in the same way that the Base app is doing with Coinbase, and it's a genius.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty interesting. Yeah, they're pushing the limits of, yeah, especially with the cultural part. I think it's
mm,
better to onboard people with culture than with money. I think
yeah,
it's easier. Yeah.
mm,
Okay, guys, and just one more, the last one. I always think about this stuff when I see these dates. I think, fuck, what I was doing in 2013. So the Forbes cover piece mentions how I was emailing the SEC as a kid. Here it is, October 2023. Little did I know. What people call an overnight success takes a decade and still a long way to go. And he posted a message. So 2023, 2013. So he sends a message for the SEC office in New York, and he says, "Hey, I'm trying to build this kind of market, and I want to make sure that this is regulated, and so on and so forth." So even though Polymarket, it started as a crypto native company, and now is doing the regulated path, and opposing as Kalshi did, it seems that Shane was worried about regulation. I mean, since 12 years ago, since he was a kid. Yeah, and I was just playing
yeah.
Lego when I was a kid. How about you guys?
It's incredible when those things surface.
Yeah, it is cool.
I mean, Shane's been a trailblazer clearly from so long ago, but it became apparent a lot later than that, and now it's completely blown up, but it's completely deserved, 100% deserved. I mean, and this proves it. That right back then, he was trying to get the right information to be able to do what he'd
What
already
he
visioned.
he envisioned. Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. What's happening now was envisioned like 12 years ago. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable, fantastic.
And as always, regulators were here to support and help people to build. And I think it's the same story everywhere, in the world. Maybe in Europe, where I am, it's even more difficult to deal with regulators. But well, that's another story.
That's
Mm,
good. That's good.
no, it's true.
Okay, guys, this is what I've got for today. Actually, I have this from Tulip King prediction market super cycle, but I'm not going to take more time from you, and I still have to drive the baby to nursery. And I'm gonna save this for next show on Monday. Nick will be back here with me, so I want to say thanks to Julian. Before, make sure check it out, Mimicry Prediction Markets, follow them. Thanks a lot, Julian. Also, make sure to check out France Cryptos and Maxim Profile. If you guys have one last word to say, one last comment before we leave, guys, feel free.
Sure. Well, I appreciate being invited on again, Diego. It's been a really good time and good to meet you, Maxime, as well. We need to catch up in DMs and talk more, I think. My final thing is that on a Thursday night, we have a little prediction night. So if anyone wants to come and join us, make a few predictions, have a bit of a laugh, then I've pinned I've put a post up in X. So have a look at that and come join us tonight, 9 o'clock UTC.
Great. Thanks a lot, man. About you,
Nice.
Maxine.
Well, thanks again for having us. A very, very interesting one, very good one. That's very cool to have like a show only about prediction market. I think and we saw it with 1 hour. We don't have enough time to cover everything,
Cover everything.
because
Yeah.
there's so much going around, and I'm very excited to see a specific project building around prediction market. And yeah, just follow us if you guys speak French. Otherwise, my profile is in English, and the project we will be building also for everyone in English. So don't worry.
Amazing. Great, guys. Thanks a lot for having here. Thanks a lot for everyone who's been watching us or listening to the show. It's always great to have you here. Make sure to follow us at Groovy Market, and the show goes out every Sunday and Thursday. Join us next Sunday, and yeah, great to have you guys here.